What's up, guys? Welcome back to Ty's Rides. Right now I want to talk to you guys about Dirty Kanza, kind of do a little recap video of my training, my nutrition, kind of what worked for me, what didn't work for me. First of all, I want to say, guys, with a ride like Dirty Kanza, it's really important to embrace the process. You gotta love riding your bike. You gotta love training. It'd be like a college athlete that doesn't like practicing. They're gonna have a rough time because the majority of time is spent practicing and not competing. That's like Dirty Kanza. When I lined up for the start of DK, I had right at 2,800 miles on the year, because my goal was when I finished DK, I wanted to be at 3,000. Initially, I didn't get into Dirty Kanza. I didn't get selected in the selection process, and I gotta be honest, I was pretty frustrated about that. But with about 6 weeks out, I got on the forum. I was pretty persistent on the forum, and Keith hit me up. Thank you again, Keith, if you're watching this, and Keith transferred me his entry. Once that point hit, things really got real. I didn't really have a coach or a training plan, but my good friend Dustin, who did the DK last year, he did have a training plan, and I kind of just used what he used to train, and he basically told me, he's like, dude, just keep doing what you're doing, but you want to focus on getting some bigger rides in on the weekend. So that's what I did during the week. I would do those, 20 to 40-mile rides, and then I'd try to get big rides in on the weekends. With about 4 weeks out, it was 4 weeks exactly from the start of the race, I knew I wanted to do 80 miles, which I did. 3 weeks out, I did a 100-mile ride. 2 weeks out was the biggest ride I had ever done. I did 125 miles. Then with about a week out, I really started to taper. I think the biggest ride I did a week out was 45 miles. So the biggest thing was really just spending a lot of time on the bike, especially 1 day a week, to try to get used to that. I knew that if I could do 125 miles and feel pretty good about it, there was a good chance I was going to do okay in the DK. For nutrition, I guess it's safe to say I really don't eat great. I did really try to tighten up my diet with about a month out from DK. I ate a lot of vegetables. I gave up alcohol 5 weeks out completely. I didn't have a single alcoholic beverage, a sip of any kind of alcohol. As far as my bike setup and the gear that I used, everything worked out great. I've got the 2018 Specialized Verge. I knew that I had the legs and I knew that I had the willpower, but I was really afraid of mechanicals, and luckily I didn't have any. There were 2 punctures that I got. I could hear the tire sealant spitting out, but luckily that sealant sealed itself. So the bike performed flawlessly. As far as nutrition on race day, I'm about 6'2", 215 pounds, so I'm not a small cyclist. I burn a lot of calories. And Dustin's like, man, you're gonna have to eat a lot, you're gonna have to eat often, you're gonna have to drink. So we we counted up all my calories and probably what I was gonna burn. For the start of the race and for the first 64 miles, I had 4 Stinger energy waffles. I had a bonk breaker bar, and then I had another organic energy bar that was like 350 calories. In my 3 bottles, I had 2 servings of Hammerhead nutrition in the 1 bottle, 2 servings in the other bottle, and then in the smaller bottle under the bike, I had another 1 serving of Ham nutrition. And he basically told me, he's like, dude, you're gonna have to eat all of this food, and you're gonna have to drink all of these fluids to have enough calories to really feel okay as this race goes on. So that's what I did. Every 30 minutes, I ate food, I sipped, and I was watching my computer the whole time, and every 30 minutes hit, I would eat. And that ended up, I think, really being the saving grace for me, because it kind of gave me a good foundation as the race went on, because towards the end of the race, I really did not feel like eating solid food, and I had to kind of rely on gels. As far as water and my gear, I had the Camelback Chase vest with 1 liter and a half of water on my back. And the rest stops honestly worked out perfectly. I'm gonna tell you, if you do a race like Dirty Kanza, make sure that you have a support person that you can count on. My girlfriend, Kim, she was amazing. I got to see her at mile 64 and at mile 151. And then there was also 2 water stops, I believe at mile 99 and mile 120. Each water stop, I refilled my pack, and it honestly was just enough amount of water. It worked out really good. And the pack was pretty small. I could keep my nutrition in my vest. I had my water in my back, and then I had my tools in my vest. So that honestly worked out really good. Another key to, if you want to try to beat this on a DK and you're just an average rider, you can't spend a lot of time at the rest stops. Kim was there and she helped me. We refilled my water. We remixed up some Hammer nutrition in the bottles on my bike. I put more food in my vest, and then I'd basically be on my way. I think maybe I spent 5 minutes at each rest stop. If I could change anything about my Dirty Kanza experience, I don't think I would change anything about the bike. I wouldn't change anything about my training. I would have a better GoPro mount. With about 11 miles left in the ride, I'm riding and I had a GoPro strapped to the front of the stem of my bike. I looked down and my GoPro's gone. There's no mount, there's no GoPro. I panic. I'm trying to beat the sun, trying to get back to Emporia before the sun goes down, and but I've got all this footage, so I'm conflicted. Do I leave the GoPro and go finish and you know, get there before the sun sets, or do I go back and chance not beating the sun and you know, get the footage? I was like, okay, well, I'll backtrack just for a bit. It felt like 3 miles. I think it ended up being a half a mile each way. My GPS is screaming at me, wrong direction, wrong direction. And so I'm passing these riders and I'm like, guys, have you seen a GoPro? No. Have you seen a GoPro? No. So I go probably about a half a mile back, and in the road is my GoPro. Oh, I was so happy. I picked up my GoPro, I stuffed it in my back jersey pocket, and I took off. This is where adrenaline kicked in. I'm going as fast as I can. I have no water left or no fluid on my bike, no water in my pack, and my legs are cramping. When I stand up, I cramp, so I can't stand up and pedal. And then when I flex my leg to a certain point, I cramp as well. So I just had to stay seated and grind as hard as I could to get there. Luckily, it all worked out. I found the GoPro and I got to Emporia before the sun went down. Dirty Kanza is it's the most difficult thing I've ever done. A lot of climbing. It was really mentally challenging. The day before the race, we were at the expo and I saw a guy who had one leg. I don't know if he was born with you know, one leg. I don't know if he had an accident. I don't know what his backstory is, but he was riding around on a bike and he had one leg. I was like, man, that's really impressive. So when the race started, I'm going and I'm probably about 5 miles in, and I see the guy with one leg riding his bike and he is kicking ass. I had never seen anything like it. And he was obviously with the group I was with, so he was doing the 200-mile race. Seeing something like that, it really makes you, you know, first of all, appreciate, you know, everything that you've been given and how lucky you are, but it also makes you say, get out of your head, quit bitching, quit feeling sorry for yourself. I kind of remembered that as the race went on, and remember seeing him, you know, anytime I had doubt, thinking about that, kind of just said, shut up, keep pedaling. The DK 350 guys, 350 miles, fully self-supported. We passed some of those guys. These guys had been riding all through the night. They're probably at 300 miles at the point where I had seen them, and they're smiling. Nico, I saw him a few times and he's smiling. So seeing these guys, seeing the guy that has one leg, he's riding 200 miles and probably arguably the toughest gravel race in the world. Seeing these guys doing the 350, it really kind of motivated me to, you know, get out of my own head and quit feeling sorry for myself, because with a race like Dirty Kanza, it's real easy to feel sorry for yourself. Really just a cool experience, and the people, everybody involved with it is so encouraging. It's just a really awesome thing. That was kind of my DK experience, a little more explanation of the training and the nutrition. I want to say right now, if you're watching this and you did any distance of the Dirty Kanza, give yourself a huge pat on the back, because that's a really big accomplishment, and it's something you should be really proud of. I've been putting out a lot of mountain bike videos lately, I know. There's some gravel races I want to do this year, so there is going to be more gravel content coming, but I really want to say I appreciate you guys watching the channel. I appreciate it if you subscribe. If you have subscribed, like, share, comment, all that good stuff, and you guys have a good one.